A couple of things.
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 Hello and welcome to another episode of A Couple of Things. Today is going to be about design and UX generally, and I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics to talk about, which is how beautiful things are not always well designed and how quote unquote ugly things can be, in a sense, better designed than beautiful looking things. I hope you enjoyed this episode. So, a common argument that people make when it comes to design is that, especially in Nigeria, is that Nigerians don't like good design. And they say things like Ireland is an example of how Nigerians don't like good designs. But what is good design even? What makes something well designed? What does it mean? And for most people, the first thing that comes to mind is it visually pleasing? But design, in the sense of what UX is more than just visual appeal. Design is also about usability, about reliability, about functionality. So for me, it's not a question of form versus function. It's a question of function and form. But the most important thing is function. Because if you really think about it, a lot of products do the same thing, and if they all work the same way and offer the same features, really, what people then start to think about in terms of what should I use is what's the easiest one to use, which one is more reliable. And that's what people think about when it comes to selecting a product that you want to use. So there's a concept in psychology known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It has been heavily debated as to whether it's actually true or not, but let's not focus on that. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are five basic groups of needs that people have. And so, if they have not satisfied the most basic needs, they can't think about the more higher needs like self actualization if they haven't taken care of food, water, and so on needs. And so, based on this, somebody named Stephen Bradley created something called the design hierarchy of needs. And at the base of the hierarchy or the triangle or pyramid, the most important thing is functionality. So if you have a very beautifully designed website, app, whatever it is, but it's not functional, it's not reliable, it's not easy to use, people are going to be turned away. Is like when you see two books, you're more likely going to pick the one with the nicer cover. However, if the one with the nicer cover, if you open it and it's like crap when you start reading it, you're going to toss it aside. But yes, so that also links to the fact that in as much as design is not just all about visuals, visuals are also very, very important because that's what draws people into something. So if we say that design is not just about the colors and shapes and all those things, and it's more about, do people get what they need to get from that thing, and do they do that easily? Why is it important to care about the visual side of things? So we were saying, if design is more about functionality, usability, and all those things, why bother about the looks? Why bother about aesthetics? There's another principle in design known as the aesthetic usability effect, which is that when people see something that looks nice, like an app or a website that looks nice, pretty, they tend to think that it is also easy to use. And that works in two ways for you. Firstly, if you have it can be a positive or a negative. So if you have a well designed website in terms of like the beauty and the aesthetics, and versus a competitor who has a very basic looking, not as nice looking website, more people are going to initially choose your own. However, when they start to use it and it doesn't work, or it's very difficult to navigate and use, or it crashes all the time, or it's not reliable, they're going to go to the other person who might not look as nice, but works well and does the thing that it needs to do very easily. And that's where the aesthetic usability effect can be bad for you, because the reaction when somebody expects something to be good and it is bad is a lot worse than if it looks okay and it is bad, because the disappointment is like you move from very high a very high extreme to a very low extreme of disappointment. So that can actually be very bad for you. What does all of this mean for you and for your product or design, whatever it is you're designing, whether it's a website, whether it's your house, an internal space, anything? The concept of design pretty much apply everywhere. And what does it mean for you? It means that when you're thinking about what makes your whatever thing you're designing good, and I'm assuming it's a product like an app, you think about, is it really functional? Does it work? Can people do what they want to achieve on this app very easily? What is important for people to be able to do these things before you now layer on the beauty and the colors and all those other things? So, TLDR, beautiful design is not always good design, and good design is not always beautiful. Beautiful and good are in quotes, in air quotes. So, thank you for listening today. I hope you learned something new. And remember to share with people, subscribe so that you don't miss out the next episode, and leave me a comment. If you have any questions, you can also let me know, and I might address them in a future podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.